Because, friends, some endings aren't about darkness disappearing. They're about a family choosing, again and again, to live in daylight. As a promise, Jack turned on the porch light and left it glowing. Not as a challenge. Tien like a blessing. Min slept with the wooden spoon in his fist. Dark couldn't claim you in silence. That night, they sat close. Anna peeled her orange and offered the first slice to Tu. Leave. Return. Safe. Jack's eyes filled. I kept saying your name out loud, he whispered. So the... Hands like she was holding herself together. I kept hearing your rule in my head, she admitted. Warm water with a pinch of salt. Old village medicine for shock. She held it with both, steady. You return. Safe. Later, when the children finally calmed, Jack brought Tu Tien a cup of pressed her palm beside the word daylight. I leave, she said softly. I return. Safe. Jack echoed. We do the bridge again, he whispered. Not because fear is gone, because love is stronger. Tu Tien. On the door, daylight, and admitted, shaking, I'm afraid. Jack nodded. Me too. He guided her hand to the sign. Everything is written, he said. No one rewrites her life into gossip. Tu Tien looked at Anna's paper. No more disappearing into fear. Mr. Dung set his notebook on the table like something sacred, but his hand stayed gentle on Tu Tien's shoulder. Then we face it with proof, he said. It's intimidation tied to a shadow from the past. We'll take it to court. Jack's jaw tightened. We keep the fire going. The officer spoke to Jack near the gate. This wasn't random, she said. You're home. Tu Tien covered her hand. You kept them safe, she whispered. Mom Loy nodded, tears falling. Tu Tien cried again, because love can be simple to break you. Mom Loy touched her cheek, trembling. I remembered. Anna took one like treasure. Min toddled forward and bumped Tu Tien's knee, his quiet approval. Did you bring oranges? Tu Tien laughed through tears and held out 2 oranges pressed into her hands. Tu Tien sank down, arms around her. I'm here, she whispered. I'm safe. Anna's voice came tiny. When she saw Tu Tien, she ran and wrapped around her mother's legs like a root finding soil. Anna stood on the porch step, staring down the road so hard it looked like holding it open. Tu Tien lifted her face, eyes wet. They said, Stop asking, wait. Jack swallowed. We didn't wait. The officer cuffed the men. Mr. Dung wrote names and times, proof that could survive courtrooms and rumors. Jack held her like she was the only true thing. You did, he whispered. And you came back. Tu Tien chose him, collapsing into his chest, shaking. I tried, she sobbed. I tried to do normal. Hair messy, face pale, but standing. Jack didn't grab her. He opened his arms and waited, of daylight. The other froze. Down, the officer ordered. A few heartbeats later, Tu Tien stepped into light. One man tried to bolt. He didn't make it far. Neighbors filled the exit without touching, becoming a wall. The officer stepped forward, voice calm and clear. Open the door. Hands where I can see them. Relief hit Jack, making him dizzy. Stay with my voice, he whispered. Stay with my voice. Tu Tien, I'm here. Are you hurt? A breath, a tremble. Not hurt, Tu Tien whispered. Baby. Okay. Jack's whole body surged forward. The officer caught his arm. Hold. Jack spoke softly into the darkness. Mr. Dung breathed out. A mark. Inside, a chair scraped. Then, thin as thread, a voice called. Jack! Near the door, a faint smear of oil shone against the dark wood. Almost nothing, but intentional. Jack's eyes skimmed the threshold, the floorboards, the dust. Then he smelled it, bright and sharp. Orange. They moved together, refusing to let one woman be swallowed. At the fish shed, she raised her hand. Stop. The officer spoke low. Stay in sight. If anything happens, you shout. Darkness hates witnesses. Accident or signal, either way, it points forward. Neighbors appeared behind them, not to chase, just visible. Tu Tien bought oranges today. Jack swallowed. Yes. Then we treat it as a breadcrumb, she said. A neighbor muttered, furious. Cowards hide there. The officer nodded toward Jack's hand and the orange. The officer added, then went dark. Jack felt his heart kick. That's close to the abandoned fish shed. It was unplugged. Mr. Dung's pen paused, so someone prepared. An unknown number pinged near Irrigation Road. The officer returned with a hard set to her jaw. That market camera wasn't broken, she said. The village shifted from gossip to purpose. Doors stayed open. Eyes stayed on the road. Daylight with witnesses. Mom Loy nodded once. This house will keep breathing. Jack stood, voice breaking. I'm bringing her home. Quiet, smart, together. She looked at Mom Loy. Keep the children inside. No rumors in their ears. Of daylight, he whispered. We don't obey fear, we use daylight. A plainclothes officer lifted one finger. But it says wait. Jack pressed his forehead to hers. Bad people say wait because they're afraid, and made his face gentle. She remembered, he said, and she knows we're coming. But Anna stood by the table, eyes on the bruised orange. Mommy remembered, she whispered. Jack knelt, forced her voice steady. Breathe, Jack. If they want you frantic, don't hand them your mind. Time down, like he was pinning the moment to paper. Mom Loy held Min close and read it once, then again. No number, she said. That's on purpose. Mr. Dung wrote his body went cold. The way it does when fear recognizes its own handwriting. Officer Thu at the blank sender. His mind tried to make it smaller. Maybe a prank, maybe a glitch. Yet, don't just land on your phone. They land on your chest. Stop asking. Wait. Jack stared. Words lit the screen. Stop asking. Wait. Jack's blood turned to ice. Hello, friends. Some words. Phone buzzed. Not a call. A message. No number. No name. Just a blank sender. No. 3. Whole house. Jack stared at Anna's sign on the door. Daylight. Leave. Return. Safe. Then his one bite of food. Not because she was hungry, because she refused to let fear starve out of scraps. Mom Loy sat at the table and forced herself still. Then she took calls near the gate. Mr. Dung spoke with Uncle Ba in low voices, building a timeline. Remembered? She whispered. Yes, Jack said, and his voice shook. She remembered you. Officer Thu took. Missing wall. Jack set the bruised orange on the table. Anna stared at it, confused. Yet. But we're looking. We won't stop. Min fussed at the doorway, sensing absence like a rumors, kidnapped, or left. Anna ran to Jack. Mommy? Jack crouched and pulled her close. Not it home, so the children know she tried. They returned with no clear truth, only fragments, only hand. Anna asked for oranges, he whispered. Mom Loy's eyes filled. Her voice stayed steady. Bring, slightly, bruised, but whole. Jack picked it up like it could break his heart in his, ground, slow and careful. Then he froze. In the dust by the bend, an orange rolled. Man's voice? Officer Thu asked. The woman nodded. I couldn't see him. Mr. Dung scanned the struggle. A woman wrung her hands. I saw her stop, like someone called her name. A crowd thinned. An older man admitted, a dark car passed, yes, but I didn't see a gone. Officer Thu's mouth tightened. We'll trace it. They moved to the back road where the Uksung. Jack showed her his call log. One unknown number had called once while Tu Tien was, since yesterday. Officer Thu repeated, since yesterday, and wrote it down like she didn't believe him. Officer Thu pointed to a camera above a shop door. The owner shrugged too quickly. Broken voice. A man insisted. No shouting. She walked like she wanted space. 2 stories, both dangerous. Backward road, alone. Auntie Lan hurried in. My cousin heard shouting near the bend. A woman's, her, Officer Thu said. Tell me only what you saw. Time, direction, no opinions. Oranges, noon. Plain clothes, eyes like knives. Mr. Dung came with a notebook already open. If you saw, voice sharp as a bell. Do not turn a missing woman into entertainment. Officer Thu arrived, small hands, and he swallowed the heat before it became a scene. Mom Loy cut in, then muttered, maybe she left on purpose. Jack turned, anger flaring. Then he remembered Anna's face, Min's. Alone? Jack asked. The boy nodded. Alone, she looked like she was thinking. A woman behind. Forward. I saw her, he added. She walked toward the back road, near the rice sacks. She bought oranges. Hope hit him. When? Near noon, the woman said. A delivery boy stepped. Jack pushed through and asked, has anyone seen Tu Tien? A vendor nodded. She was here, calling Officer Thu. Mr. Dung, too. The market was loud, crowded, alive. Exactly the kind of place, he said, and the word cracked. Mom Loy nodded once. Then we go with daylight. I'm, hands shaking. Mom Loy stepped in front of him. Where are you going? To the market, Jack called Tu Tien. Ringing, no answer. Again. Voicemail. He shoved his feet into his shoes. Ba shook his head. No. I heard a sharp sound, like a door. Then it drove off, car near the road. It slowed. Jack went cold. Did you see her get in? Uncle Hobu, sweeping anymore. I saw Tu Tien at the market, he said. Then I saw a dark, sank, because Mom Loy didn't scare easily. At 1:05, Uncle Ba appeared at the gate, not, flicked to the road and stayed there a beat too long. Jack saw it, and his stomach. Be back soon, Jack said, smiling too hard. Mom Loy kept peeling garlic, but her eyes return. Safe. Still, his hand drifted to his phone. At noon, Anna asked, where's Mommy? She'll pretended the world was steady. He repeated the bridge in his head like a prayer. Leave, past, cruelly ordinary. Jack tried to be present. Water for Min, crayons for Anna, small kindnesses that. Daylight had witnesses. Jack watched until she turned the corner. Then he made himself stop. time. The gate, alone, but not unseen. Uncle Ba swept his yard. Auntie Lan waved from her doorway. Min waddled over and bumped Tu Tien's knee. "I'll bring," Tu Tien promised, and stepped through, nodded once. "I return, safe." Anna ran in and hugged her waist. "Bring oranges," she instructed, fear and dignity. He forced the words out. "Okay, I leave. You return. Safe." Tu Tien could hide. But he remembered the rule they built after the last dark night. The bridge between, to do small normal things too. He wanted to argue. Normal places were where bad things, fast. Tu Tien turned, surprised. Then she gave him a small, brave smile. "Jack, I need things, just quick." The word market tightened Jack's chest. "I'll go with you," he said too. "Love into guarding." Tu Tien dried her hands. "I'm going to the market for a few. Peace, then it waits for the other shoe." Mom Loy caught him and murmured, "Breathe. Don't turn, has trained your body. It keeps a secret tally. 1 smile, 2 laughs, 3 minutes of watched her more than he meant to. Not controlling, not suspicious, just counting. Because when fear, the sky looks clearer, but you can still feel the lightning somewhere under your skin. Jack, than usual, but not broken. Her face held that tired brightness people get after a storm. Wooden spoon like it was a prize. Tu Tien rinsed rice at the sink, moving quietly. Softer, sheet of paper that read, in crooked letters, "Daylight." Min sat on the floor, chasing a borrowed time. Cocoa still lingered in the air. By the inside door, Anna had taped a "Go back to the morning after laughter." Hello, friends. The morning after laughter can feel like storms can feel less alone. But to understand why those 3 words shattered him, we must. You've ever trusted with a trembling heart? Please tap like and subscribe. So, more women who've survived. Loving someone is also learning how to breathe when you don't know if they're alive. If rumors battled in the dusk, kidnapped or left. And Jack felt the terror he knew too well. Stone. Mom Loy's hands shook over a bruised orange Jack had carried home like proof. The gate gave one slow creak, like someone testing the latch. Officer Thu's face turned to sender, "Stop asking, wait." In the kitchen, Min cried for a mother who wasn't there. Outside, Jack stood under Anna's handmade sign, "Daylight," when his phone lit up with a message from a blank.